I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again. Another day, another opportunity for us to ask ourselves the question, is love true? Is love true? Very weirdly, that was the thing that came up the most during this weekend. I'm very tired. I'm very tired. I need to sleep. Slept like maybe 3 hours last night. Just up having conversations, talking about our trauma, talking about the things that bother us when it comes to our family, talking about the things that bother us about humanity, the concern we have for people, and especially the amount of anger that we're noticing. So much anger. It was this whole tangent of the only thing we want is gratitude, and the only thing we get is anger. Right? There's so much anger towards ourselves, towards our government, towards our bodies, towards our planet, towards our circumstances, towards the people that wronged us, towards so much anger right now. And I felt like this whole weekend was this massive question. Is love true? Having gone through some very interesting questions and especially interesting answers from myself. You look very tired, Mel. I'm tired. I am tired. I had a little bit of coffee just to give me a little bit of a pep so, so I can be semi-coherent. I feel like I did well. If your friends are curious, I, me, and Johan and Christian took 1 2CP between the three of us, and we each took a single drop of LSD. And that was all we ever did for the whole weekend. And the experience was very intense. More intense than all of the previous experiences have been. There was this deep, 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 deep sense of gratitude for being where it is we were. It ended up raining like cats and dogs. It hailed last night. It actually hailed. And me and Christian were dancing in the hail, getting pelted by freaking, ice. We showed up, we danced for it. We went back home and we went through some interesting quandaries, especially this one of what it is we believe our values are. You know, like we were definitely in a privileged position, a position of power. And that position of power is something that could be so easily abused. And it's like it didn't even come across our heads. Instead of abusing power, there was this willingness to abstain from power for the sanctuary, for the sanctity of each other, the otherness that we were having. And I had to ask myself, really feeling deeply, am I a bad person? Right? Am I a bad person? Because, and yeah, Christian had already, schooled me on this topic, but I don't know how to say this. People wanted to be saved, right? It's an expectation. There were so many beautiful, women coming up to me, asking for my attention. And then I say hi, right? I maybe give them a hug, I maybe exchange names, but I'm dancing. and then I continue to dance. All right, and I feel this person next to me, looking at me, expecting me to now do something, and then I dance, and then they leave, disappears into the night, into the world, and then 5 minutes later, is a new person doing the exact same thing, and it was this genuine trip experience, maybe like a sense of realization of the amount of self-respect, the amount of self-love, deep, deep love for myself and for what I believe is right, that I've had to come to over the last 2 years. You know, it's this weird trip, this genuine weird trip, and this might be a little bit forward, right? I'm sorry, but over the last 2 years, I've been missing intimacy in my life, right? And I don't go out a lot. I don't see too many people, and there are very beautiful people at these psytrance festivals. And going 2 years without seeing any people, and then seeing more people than you have in the 2 years, combined in a single day, it really tweaks with your brain. And instead of there being this desire to get something done, there was this deep understanding that I don't want to get laid. I want to be deeply in love. And the only thing I was seeing offered to me is to get laid, not to be in love. And it shocked me. So that brings us back to today's question. The stream topic: is love true? Right? Almost like as the ultimate cosmic question that we all have to face. Is love true? And then if you answer true, the only thing left to do is be grateful instead of angry. Right? That love is still true in this context, to the point where I had to love myself. The universe had to love me enough to test me, to send me an opportunity, right? And me and Christian beautifully had a conversation about this, about imagining our future wives, right? How we want to live with such a deep sense of respect, a deep sense of pride is not the greatest word, but pride in ourselves, that we should be able to, like in a full HD playback, give our lives to our future partners and have them love us for the choices we made. Really love us for the choices we made. And making choices is a hard one. And we were looping around and around this last night, me, Johan, and Christian, about this question of, is love true? Right? Almost like it is a question. We came to this deep, point in the conversation about the state of our world right now, the state of the way we're treating each other, the options. That there are two options. Either we live or we die. And the collective humanity is being faced with that question right now. Think about it. The kids are being faced with that question right now. And we as a collective have to choose. We have to choose whether or not we believe love is true. Whether or not we believe that this experience is worth loving. Right? And then from that perspective, whether or not we should be grateful for it. And there's a lot of things to be angry about. So I understand the anger. Last night, thinking about this music festival, right? This whole experience, and thanks to this space, we manifested a space that was safe, away from the rain, right? And There was a moment last night where we were sitting and just watching the rain come down, watching lightning strike mountains, having our brains melted by the sheer beauty of just nature, the power of nature. And then at the same time, realizing, coming to this deep understanding, watching Christian, walk door to door to every single person at that festival, not physically, but through the mental realm, seeing through their eyes, seeing their lives, seeing the deep unity in what's happening. And even though we might have been comfortable, other people weren't. Other people had reason to be angry, even though we might not be. And how at the same time, it's impossible for us to try and save everyone, right? That there was this deep hope, I believe, that we are all capable of saving ourselves. That if you don't save yourself, you're doing it on purpose, right? You're choosing the non-choice. We need to start loving ourselves, friends, deeply, right? I feel for our own relationship with ourselves, the question of is love true should be the one that's most present in our minds. And you friends have been teaching me that. I went through a rant, a straight rant of like talking about you friends last night, individually, about the things you do, about the people you are. Just absolutely flabbergasted. I think of you as guardian angels. Guardian angels, gods in my life. Showing me love is true. It's been beautiful. Your friends have done so much, and I wish I can do more. I will do more. We had a lot of conversations about personal responsibility. It's a brutal one. Discipline and personal responsibility. Like those words, just hearing them might, send shrivels down your spine. And yet, it's the only way we can save ourselves. And you can technically be, but you can sustainably be responsible for another person. You can't make decisions for them, and like it was this question of like, why is it I'm trying so hard? And Christian, he says like, are you looking for importance? And I say to him, no. At least I don't believe that I want to be important. I want every single person on planet Earth's experience to have importance. That you, dear friend, are the thing that's important. On this tangent of gratitude versus fear or gratitude versus anger, the only thing, the most wonderful thing that I can hope for people right now is that instead of just perpetuating this state of anger, this state of victim consciousness throughout their day, no matter what it is they do, maybe make themselves a coffee, eat a chocolate bar, and ferociously doing so to the point where it's gone before you even realize what happened. Gone before you even get to appreciate it. To be able to watch the swirls in your coffee, to sit down, drink it slowly, calm yourself, deeply sink into that state of gratitude, I feel that's how we save the world. You know, not by creating importance or elevating any one person above anyone else, but realizing that there is so much importance right in front of our eyes right now. A beautiful analogy that came to my mind last night is thinking about it as flowers. That every single one of us are a flower of our own. Our life is a flowering of its own as well. And this genuine understanding that that comparison is the thief of joy. You know, you might have this beautiful, multicolor petaled, beautifully textured flower, right in front of your eyes, and you can be like, whoa, this is amazing. And then you see your friend also holding something, and you're like looking at his flower, and you see your favorite color used more, for example, in that person's flower, and you're like, oh, there's something wrong with mine. There's something wrong with mine, you know, look at that other one. Not realizing that it is the exact same eyes behind that person looking at the exact same flower. It's the exact same perspective looking at this reality. And the best thing you can do is just to be grateful for it. You know, and I know it sounds almost like like a dad, you know, and shut up and be grateful type of vibes. And yet it is the thing that has done the most good for me in my life. I feel I almost overdo it sometimes. Like I'm grateful to the point of people telling me to shut the fuck up. And I feel the alternative is just a state of anger that just perpetuates more of the same. And watching this entire weekend as a lesson. I got schooled. I got schooled. I had this conversation last night of feeling like my body was a cup, right? Or maybe just my skull, and my brain, with the conversations we were having, got melted and then poured out, and then new brains, and then my my brains got melted again, and then poured out, and then new brains, over and over and over again. Accepting, accepting abundance, especially, right? And abundance means so many things to different people. To me, in that moment, abundance was really self-love, like deep sense of self-love, a connectedness to the thing that you are, so intrinsically that it can't be taken away from you. I'm spacing on his name right now, but we talked about this Stoic philosopher, Diogenes. I think his name is Diogenes. That threw everything away. He let go of everything, all of his material possessions, all of his books, all of his nice clothing. Started living in a barrel with dogs. He had a ball at first, just a ball, until he saw the dogs he was sleeping with drink out of a puddle on the ground. And then he stopped using his ball as well. And he was living a whole life. He was having an experience unlike probably any person in this world. Living a complete existence, having nothing, and yet still having the fullness of life. That life doesn't become more full the more things you add onto it. You become more full the more things you add onto yourself. But then it's this weird paradox because adding things to yourself takes really hard work. So much attention, so much going back and forth, so much practicing. And I'm trying to get good at it, friends, and I know you are too. All of us are. We really are trying to get better at helping people, trying to build frameworks. How do we give understanding to someone in a way that we can improve their lives? Is it pompous of us to assume we can improve another person's life? Are we willing enough to do the things for ourselves that will improve our lives? Going through these loops. Self reflect, self reflect, self reflect. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? Where does this feeling come from? Where does this feeling go? Is it constructive? Is it destructive? Is love true? Over and over again. Your butt. Brother Ryan, I'm so sorry for spacing for so long. Thank you, friends. Thank you for spending some time with me. Maxine, like friends, seeing your names right now. It's so nice. Bethany, love you, dear friend. Thank you for joining us. Alexander Sofer, love is not only true, it is everything. This I agree with, Alexandra. I completely agree. I agree to the point where it it's like in code, right? You have true statements and you have false statements as a one or a zero. In my world, love is true is it's like a logic gate. It is what is, that nothing else is true other than love. Everything that is not love is just a separation from that love, right? Pulling away in fear, so scared to be united again, unwilling to even. Ezra, so very proud of you, Mel. Thank you. It is sad in a way. It really is. It really is. But I know that the partner that I'm supposed to have is out there somewhere, and I'll stay true to love for myself and for that person. For as long as I have to. Love is true for me and for you. Love you. And the love is true. Love brought us here, and is why we continue to show up. I know, and you friends reminding me helps so much. Like we had some conversations this weekend with such a wide variety of people, and almost as uh, a point arising from my mentality, I kept noticing how many people have a lack of support and love in their lives, a lack of acknowledgement that they exist, right? A lack of love. And when I hear friends talk about these issues they're facing, I can't help but become emotional, feeling like I understand where they're coming from. And yet you friends have made me feel the opposite, right? Like instead of feeling like I'm lacking love, that I'm lacking support, that I'm lacking people that encourage, that want to see me succeed, you friends, the way we want to see each other succeed melts me. Like the amount of encouragement I see in this space. And I feel I want that for everyone. I really do. But how do you give that? I'm only one person. We mentioned last night as well this understanding that if every single person helped just the person next to them, the whole world, would get helped in an instant. But we don't. We don't, because there's this narrative of loss, zero sum nature. That if I give something to someone else, now I don't have it anymore and they do, which means, I'm at a loss and they're gaining. Instead of seeing the world as a place to generate more abundance with, right? Instead of seeing it as there's only that much pie, make more pies. We don't have to slice, 1% thin slices of this pie just to get by. Whew, Sam, to love another person day after day, after they've left their dishes in the sink you just cleaned, that is a conscious choice we must make every day. Beautifully said, Sam. And that was something me and Christian had some deep conversations about as well. You know, the consideration, talking about our moms. The biggest lesson my mom tried to teach me in my life is consider people. Be considerate. Over and over and over again, drilled into my head. And Christian's mom was the same. And Christian has been a teacher in that way, right? Having him sometimes be inconsiderate, feeling myself getting angry instead of tuning into the gratitude I have for my friend, the gratitude I have for the space we're in, the gratitude I have to be able to hear things, the noises he's making and get angry about it. For instance, Christian likes sometimes, scrolling while he's like taking a 5 minute break, like scrolling some sort of, short form content. And then sometimes he'll let his audio just blare, right? Short form after short form. And it ruins my brain. It makes me so angry. And instead of lashing out, instead of getting to a point of disrespect, me and him have just been communicating, really communicating, talking about the things that we feel are inconsiderate. And we were really getting deep into this assumption, this understanding of respect and the way that we do assumptions around it, where how do I frame this? Assuming makes an ass out of you and me, right? Or if you want me to assume, you make an ass out of you and me. But at the same time, we have this narrative sometimes that in order to be completely respected, or at least to feel completely respected, we want people to assume that they have to do certain things. We want people to guess. If they cared enough, if they respected us enough, if they loved us enough, then surely they would be doing this, this, and that. And because they're not doing this, this, and that, I'm angry at them and they don't deserve my love. They don't deserve my gratitude. Right? So it creates this very interesting feedback loop where we're finding ourselves in a place right now where we are holding extremely high and uncommunicated expectations of each other. And then we wonder why we're so angry, why we're so confused, why we're so frustrated. The amount of uncommunicated expectations is trippy. Love is true above all things. You know what is right and true for you, Mel. I'm proud of you for staying true to yourself. I'm staying true to you, friends. Like like as I was saying, guardian angels and gods. Like you, friends, were there with me, like angels on my shoulders, taking care of me, making sure I'm safe. So Jusham, look, I'm happy I still look you, dude. This is tired melt. We are living through difficult times. Love feels absent, but it is only an illusion. You are the love, friend. Your presence, your ability to perceive is that love, I believe. You so far, you make sure you have so much love. Thank you for that, friends. Never settle, friends. Please don't. Whoa, look at my the next year's person. Your friends are about to be. Love you too, Alexandre. Estrog. I will forever. Couldn't have said it better. Time flies. All we do is appreciate the time we have now. Gratitude for you, Captain Schmexy. Gratitude for you too, friend. Sena, here too. So much love to you, friend. I'm grateful for hearing your lesson. Thank you, Ezra, for entertaining this process. You know, like I realized properly, really properly this weekend how much I've grown in the last 2 years. Oh, and by the way, the pants sold. We went out this morning the dude's stall was still closed. So we went back, packed all of our things, got everything in the car, drove back down. Dude was setting up the shop, but was just setting up the shop. So I'm like, oh wait, dude, I promised at the end of the weekend, if that pants is still available, I'm gonna buy it. And he's like, ah, cool. And then he really takes his time, really takes his time to unpack everything. So I dance a little bit more. I get back to the stall, pants gone. My pants just disappeared. Not the end of the world, but I was mildly bummed. Just a little bit of bummage. So yeah, we're learning a lot of lessons. So many lessons, Ezra. The multi-layered lessoning that I was trying to learn this weekend. This is a great conversation. I'm glad I have time to listen in while I'm heading to work on the bus. Thank you, Sena. Love you, friend. Thank you for spending some time with us here. Be present and find appreciation in the moment. Even in the lowest of lows, we can explore the depth of our highest highs. Reflect, right? Really reflect. Oh, that we celebrated Thanksgiving. Had a great time. Thank you, Bethany. Really. If you had a good Thanksgiving, even if you didn't, I hope you're happy, friend. Hope you got to spend some time with your loved ones, even if your loved one is just you. I think that is the truth right there. We might be infinitely abundant in any circumstances. Bad for anybody who wants to sell you something or use you in some way. Yep. And it was this trip of kindness, Brother Ryan. It's beautiful you say that. This genuine trip of kindness. That kindness costs you nothing until it costs you something. Yo, you're like, it was a bit much. The expectations, the willingness to use another person, right, for some sort of end goal, and the unwillingness to be transparent and communicate, but rather manipulate. That you can be kind, you can give a smile, you can give your time, you can listen to a person. But then if they notice that kindness in you and see the softness that you're trying to give, they can try and use you in the same breath. So it creates this incentive to generate some sort of separation sometimes. And it's a hard thing for me to face. I don't believe in separation, right? Like we're a part of this earth, we're breathing the same atmosphere. So even if I wanted to, there's no separating us from one another. It's like a choice, right? Of who you want to be close to you. And it's a it feels like you're an evil person for making that choice sometimes. When in fact, instead of being angry at yourself, you should be grateful to yourself for loving yourself enough to tailor the person, the experience you're going to be spending time with. The spiritual meaning of love is measured by what it can do. Love is meant to be, no, love is meant to heal. Love is meant to renew. Love is meant to bring us closer to God. Marcus Aurelius. There we go. Thank you for that stoic wisdom, Sena. To understand the love of being, to understand the love of being loving radically changes us. People in and of themselves cannot give us happiness. Activities in and in themselves cannot give us happiness. One becomes a loving presence, a center for divine grace. The love of being loving. The love of being loving. That you can love deeply, just being loving of your coffee, of your friends, of your bed, of your feet. I'm tired. My body is hurting. But I'm grateful. Lovingly spending time in softness. Taking care of myself as well. Beautifully said, Sena. Thank you. The more we venture out into the world, we find that the collective mindset of humanity has a very hardened approach to life. The love expressed at this moment reminds us of how effective it can be. Please do not get discouraged. I won't. I won't jump on Jack. I'm gonna go into infinity, dude. Even if it takes me all of infinity to reach where it is we're going, I'll go there with you. Our ability to produce love is unending, ceaseless. Being considerate is so essential. I believe so. I really believe so, Maxine. And it's hard sometimes, right? And it creates this narrative, especially in guys like me and Christian, where even if we wanted to pick a feminine partner, right? We're trying to be so considerate of this other person that we don't want to disturb them. We don't want to inconvenience them with a conversation. And I'll keep sharing this with Christian as I try to share it with myself and you friends, that instead of believing that you're going to be inconsiderate or you're going to inconvenience a person by talking to them, believe deeply that you're going to change their life, right, for the better, for the hope of humanity, when you go and have a conversation with them. And it makes the approach a little bit easier. And you won't, let's say, even know how you might change their lives. I feel that's the beauty of it as well. Be kind. Be kind and considerate. It helps not only your heart and your soul, but collective heart and soul. Stay in the place of appreciation and will grow into many other useful reactions. I agree. I completely agree. By sharing your understanding and knowledge like you are today, it opens the door for love to multiply and spread through us. The ripples. The ripples. I understood again, Esrog, how we are quite literally changing the world right now. We are actually changing the world right now, and it's painful. It is uncomfortable. People are kicking and screaming right now. Don't want to change. Want to be angry. I truly feel like we've gathered some of the really best folks on this planet. Guardian angels, like you friends are, like I wish, how can I give a visual for you? Okay, so I'm imagining golden people, right? Like you can have these experiences with psychedelics where you can see entities that shine so brightly that that is what they do, right? They don't have to pretend. They don't have to try. That is just who they are. People that shine lovingly. And sometimes that fire gets a little bit dimmer. Sometimes we feel intimidated by someone else's shine. Oh, comparing my shine to that person's shine. Your shine is painted with your time, your experience, your perspective, and it's just as beautiful as anyone else's. Love is true. Love is true, especially for your experience. Appreciation for the root for my many good works. Appreciation is the root for my many good works. I agree. I appreciate you, such thank you, friends. No, the pants. I'm a little bit bummed, Shannon. I am. I actually am. And I knew someone was gonna want them. I did, right? So even though I'm slightly bummed, bear with me. I had this I had this fractal in my mind where who knows how many years I'll take before I go to another music festival. I go to a music festival. I see a person with his pants on them, and I'm like, dude, did you buy that pair of pants at Twilight in 2022? And they're like, yeah, I did actually. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I wanted those pants. I'm happy that you've been wearing them. You've been creating all of that energy this whole time, generating. I hope you can appreciate it. All right, maybe that'll happen, maybe not. But we ever bought them, it's gonna have a good time. I hope so, at least. The world is full of good juju. We just need to adjust our ears and our hearts, tune into the right frequency, completely right. It was meant to be. Extra grateful for each of you today, as we are for you, Bethany. Thank you, Brother Brandon, for joining us too. Kindness is as kindness does. Thank you for manifesting abundance. Dearly, friend, thank you so much. The ability to tyranny of numbers ourselves, like create these narratives that we are somehow as valuable as the amount of numbers we have. And yet at the same time, you friends can manifest those numbers into my life. Uncle Becky just having, right, given me enough money to, you could probably buy yourself a coffee with $2 in South Africa, coffee for today. And like I'm tripping out about how like that is the power we have right now, right? Just right now with our current medium of doing this. And we're still in the infant stage of the internet as well, friends. Very much so. We're gonna do some cool things. Me and you both. Really cool things. I look forward to seeing it all, you friends. I don't know if we have a song today. I don't think so. I think it did get cancelled. I don't know if Brother Ryan is still here. Because I think it was assumed that since I'm going to be at the festival, there was no song, huh? I feel like we got to talk about what we were supposed to talk about today. I'm sorry if it was a little bit more somber, a little bit more contemplative. 17 friends watching right now, and 3 updates to Maxine. Miss Molly, it's so nice to have you friends here. Is love true? Ask yourself that a lot, as much as you can. When you feel enraged by something, when you feel unsatisfied, when you feel like you're being wronged one way or another, when you worry, is love true? Is love something that is true in your life right now? And it's a hard question to ask. It's a really hard question to ask. Especially since love looks differently for others, for all of us. I'm talking about our families last night. The fact that my family shows love by criticizing, right? By beating on you so that you can get stronger. And that is the ultimate form of love. But it creates this narrative that you're not loved, you are in fact not good enough. And no matter what you do, no matter how much better you get, there's just going to be more things to be called out that you haven't gotten better at yet, right? And for the longest time, I was having a very hard time tripping about that part of my family. And I feel with Christian's help and with this festival especially, I realized that pushing each other to be better, Christian said it beautifully last night, that the only thing he wants for us, genuinely, deeply wants for us, is for us to be successful, right? And doesn't have to be success in the traditional sense of, massive wealth. Successful as someone coming completely into their lives, like a flower is successful when it opens up and blooms beautifully. And I feel that's honestly what we want for each other. To see each other bloom, to see each other open up to this world, to see things for what they are, to appreciate the deep, deep love that is present always. It's intimidating. It's intimidating even. Maybe that's why we forget. It's so much easier to just let go of it. Thank you. Thank you, Shan. I'm not apologizing because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I'm apologizing because I care so much about you friends, and I want you to know that I was like thinking how if we do a song, how there could be like questions, we could have like conversations about this weekend, but we can still do that next week. I feel right now I have like two brain cells, one in zeroing, you know, like arm wrestling for information in my brain. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Bethany. You are loved, my friends, as all of you are, as we love you, dear friend. Would anyone still be interested in getting together on Discord? Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, friend. Please, I'd love to hang. Thank you, Javan. Damn, that's how my family operates too, where there's always pushing me and my brother and sister, but I feel like we are not enough. You are. You are. Dear Sena, you are enough. I'm crying right now again, crying this weekend, noticing how I do the same thing. You know, with my friends, I push them. I want to see them be happy. I want to see them succeed. I want them to believe love is true. But it starts with you. It has to. It has to start with you. How can you love the world? How can you heal the world? How can you take care of the world if you cannot do those things for yourself? How? It's impossible. It's like you are an extension of the earth, right? And through this medium, through this extension, through this snorkel, you're piercing into three-dimensional reality with. You have to love it, even though it might make you angry sometimes. You might get a tummy ache, a headache, you bump your toe on a corner, and you're like, this sucks. I'm angry. Why do you hurt, body? And yet, that body has been keeping you alive day in, day out for years. That's a lot of work. So much presence, right? And your body has all of these needs, these expectations, uncommunicated expectations of you. And you have to learn. You have to learn how to respect your body in a way where you can answer to all of these uncommunicated expectations in a way that is mutually beneficial, both to you as body and to you as mind. And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of anger, even as well. You know, channeling the anger we might feel about the world and putting it into something like exercise or like a creative hobby, really with fury, showing up for something. Christian is teaching me a lot. My mom is in the kitchen with her bestie making a massive breakfast for my friend and I am right now so we can have a good meal before we get on the road to head back home. So yeah, love is true. Oh, you know, without doubt for you at least. JV, that sounds amazing. Send your mom my love, please. Please send your mom my love. Tell her thank you for bringing such a beautiful daughter into the world. You are not alone with those feelings. Many grow up in families similar to yours. As you get older, those feelings will work themselves out. They always do, Miss Molly. They always do. And I feel at least, if anything, we're at a point in our lives where we're willing to think about these things. We're willing to consider in a way that we might not have been able to or even willing to before. Finding my way back to love is my challenge every day, and please continue doing that, Ezra. I'll find you there too. You were enough. You were worthy, you were loved, you matter, and you don't need anyone's validation or approval but your own. Love yourself first. Whew. Maxine, beautifully said. I'll be there. JD, that sounds blissful, right? It's how my mom shows her love through food. She's an awesome lady, even when we bicker. Still awesome. Yeah. I've said this, I'll say it until I'm dead. My mom is my guru, right? This idea we have of gurus. My mom is that to me. She's my ultimate teacher. The amount of restraint, the amount of patience, the amount of consideration, love, and appreciation she's taught me throughout these years made me, is actively making me the person I am today. Moms, God entities, powerful beyond recognition. I love y'all. Try and find within yourself today that of which was lost yesterday. Find Akasha and smile. Going to be a productive day. Love you. Uncle Becky, thank you for the discipline you show in this world of the bear. Discard. Upside down one. The freedom of love. Is love true? The freedom of love. Freedom to believe in ourselves and in our friends. To believe rocks don't mean well. Feels a sign. The freedom of love. Goodness, my brain is like not ready for this amount of melting right now. Perfect synchronicity of today's stream topic. Look at that. Amazing. Upside down goes. Separation is a false story that history has handed you. Open your heart and let universal love fly in. The stellated dodecahedron is associated with unity consciousness. Combined with the golden spiral hearts, this card creates a matrix through which we can realize that when we live in integrity, and with heart energy, there is true freedom. Our journey of evolution is our journey towards unity consciousness. Meditate with this image and feel into your connection to divine oneness and universal love. Visualize yourself as part of every particle of energy in creation. Sacred geometry affirms our oneness and provides us with a language that better understands our place in it all. Love is the key that unlocks this language and helps us more fully realize our divinity. Freedom is the force that offers us an opportunity to realize an expanded view of our humanness and our place in the cosmic order. Take this experience into your heart and see it as sprouting wings. See yourself flying on the wings of universal love and experience the freedom of knowing you are never separate, but are truly an integral part of the divine order. An integral part of the divine order. You, dear friend, are the love that is true. You are the love that is true. Maxine, I don't know anything. I know nothing. And yet, in the circle, everything. No completion. No start. Yay! Love you, Susanna. Oh, thank you for singing with me. What time are y'all getting on the Discord today? Please, let's find out, Lolo. Wow, card is spot on today. Ezrog, at this point, I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering to love, to the freedom of love, to really letting go of this sense of separation. And I was struggling. I was really struggling this weekend, feeling the sense of separation, right? Having to separate in order to appreciate in some way. It's a process. We're learning. Oh goodness, the fact that we're learning together makes me so happy. I'm thinking same time as the song, how it be. So 10:45 EST, Lolo. Thank you, Lolo. Thank you, friends. Hug yourselves today. Thank you for the hug. Who's cutting onions in here? I love you, friends. I love you, friends, so much. Thank you for joining me today. There's so much power and wisdom in today's stream. These festivals can do that sometimes, Maxine. It's like a download. It feels like a speed run of universal consciousness. Like there's so many people really tripping out, right? So the mental energy generates, and then being faced with so much psychic energy of so many people thinking about the same thing, asking themselves, everybody, every single person, asking themselves the question of whether or not love is true. Should I be angry or should I be grateful? Struggling, struggling, you know, oscillating between these feelings, creating this sensory experience. Whew, it's a lot. Thank you. Thank you, friends, for joining me for this stream. I'm so happy. Like I'm feeling good about myself. So happy you friends are making me that you're appreciating today's energy. I was like worried. I was like, oh dude, I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna not be happy chappy, you know, people are gonna be like, ah, you know, where's happy go lucky mouth? I feel I'm very happy. I feel I'm very happy. I feel I've realized the truth of love in myself and in my friends in a way that I haven't been able to before. I had a moment last night where I think I reached a level of gratitude never before experienced. Like, I don't know if that translates, but being so happy that you feel this is not happy even, grateful. That you feel this is honestly the most grateful I've ever been in that moment. And it was alongside this tangent of you friends, you know, like the reality we're in, the fact that you friends are a part of this reality with me now, and you you have hands in it. You're manifesting with me. We're doing magic. Like actually, there ain't no way you can hold on to something that wants to go. You understand? You can only love what you got while you got it. Kate D'Amelia. Well, Sena, for the moments I had you, friend, thank you for loving me. Thank you for letting me love you. Yes, energy is amazing. Of you, S-Rock. You are not here to perform, Melty. You're here to be real. We wouldn't expect anything out there. I know. I know. I'm just stupid sometimes. A little bit. You know, also insecure, also tripping out about how people see me. Also tripping out about trying to give you the best experience I possibly can. The fact that you friends are so present, you know, no matter what the experience is, it means a lot. You can be tired, yet fill every soul you encounter with love. It's true, Miss Molly. Thank you, friends, for doing the same. You can't love except in the present. Ellen Watts. Of course, Melty, we all love you, our awesome treasure. No, you. Una Rivers, no, you. Thank you for taking us dancing. The experience from this end was awesome. I'm so happy to hear that too. Maxine, I was concerned that I was being weird, but I thought to myself that what an experience it could be for you friends, you know, all the way in America, England, you know, Australia, to be able to tune in and see into this fractal that I was in, you know, this absolute chaos. There was this moment, and maybe I'll end today's stream with this in mind. Maybe we'll attach the love is true statement to this as well, where we saw thick, thunderous clouds starting to come up, you know, and me and Christian, decided to go and dance one more time. And we get there, and it starts raining. Raining harder than I've ever had it rain in my life. It started hailing, even, and I'm dancing. I'm so wet. My Adam's scarf, the red, yellow, and black one. I was swinging it so hard I was almost destroying it. Dancing in this thick rain, dancing in the hail, dancing in this experience of love, of love for just being in that moment, you know, and going back home after, like Christian calls me off the dance floor basically. And we go back home and we get there and we get undressed so we can, like get the wet clothing off of us. And Christian, looks me and Yuan dead in the eyes. And he says to us, I have never in my life been as wet as I am right now. And I have been deep in the ocean. I have been deep in the ocean. We were soaked. It's like deeply soaked. And yet it was amazing. It really was amazing. And there was this deep experience of love and gratitude for the rain, for the cooling down of that experience, for the giddy excitement being out there, and then extreme gratitude for being able to go back to a dry space, while there were other friends in that same festival area who was angry at the rain and then angry at going back to a tent that might, be wet, right? It was the exact same fractal all of us were facing, and yet because of a difference of perspective, of level of comfort, there is an exponential difference in perceived quality of experience. The experience didn't necessarily change. Maybe the other side of the fractal of the experience did, but the initial getting rained on while you're dancing experience was the exact same for both parties. And being able to laugh with my friends about how wet we are, having danced in the rain, having having gotten pelted by hail, like literally just feeling these things, hit your face and on top of your head. I'm happy to have friends. Your friends are like just to be able to share stories like these. Uh, is like we were there with you seriously, and you're here with me right now. Thank you for considering us always, Melody. Thank you for doing the same, Joy Vivo, man. Nothing like dancing in the rain. It was powerful, right, Joe? The energy must have been electric. I felt like it was a divine comedy. Seriously, like I felt, and this might be a little bit pompous, but do bear with me. I felt like I was being an example of anger versus love, right? It like when we were dancing, it was at the worst, right? It was like hailing and raining thick while we were dancing. And then as soon as we got back to the apartment, things started quieting down and it stopped raining as hard. So while it was raining the hardest it could, I was on the dance floor dancing, right? Passionately, deeply passionately. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life right now. And it honestly felt like I'm trying to share this message without having to say a single word to every single person watching me underneath the tents, seeing this whole process unfold and hoping that they see that I'm willing to embrace the suck of it fully, completely embrace the thickness of the rain and still dance giddily. It felt like that we were there. You were, you were looking through my eyes as well. Here comes the tears again. Damn. I love you. I love you. Like, love you. Thank you for joining me. Sharing some time, sharing some space. Sharing this moment. I know you're living a whole infinite life. The fact that you can find a moment for me, it means so much. Brother Joel talked about you too, dear friend, this weekend. That sounds awesome. I want to dance in the rain with you, Mel. You make it sound fun. One day, Sena. One day. A dream you dream alone is but a dream. A dream we dream together becomes reality. Thank you, Joy V and Shannon, for saying hi to Brother Joel as well. We're just about tuning out your fan. I thank you again. I'll see you again soon. Love you, dear friends.